Is it time to sell your Bitcoin? Well, I don't think so. In fact, what I am personally doing is buying more Bitcoin. But if you look around the market right now, the general sentiment that you're seeing is that the end is here. It's all over. Sell your crypto if you haven't sold it already, because we're still going to go down 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% lower. It's all over. Get ready for the great bear market of 2021. Well, I don't agree with that sentiment. In this video, I'm going to lay out the reasons why I'm not selling my Bitcoin, and in fact, I have been buying more Bitcoin during this massive market event that we've been seeing recently. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that is a topic that you would like to learn some more about, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Gently tap on the thumbs up button. And of course, click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. By the way, every single week I produce an investor report called Wealth Mastery. Every single issue of this report is designed to give you an edge on the market. We have a step-by-step DeFi tutorial, a trending coin analysis, a deep dive altcoin report, the latest token sales, the latest airdrops, top-tier technical analysis, and much, much more, all for less than $10 a week, meaning that this is the most value-packed and at the same time the most affordable investor report on the market. Click on the link down below me here in the description where you can learn more and become a member today. Okay, now let's go ahead and get straight into this topic. First, I want to start off with this thought. If you haven't sold yet, well, then why the heck would you be selling now? At this point, I'm starting to feel like seller exhaustion must be coming in. There can't be that many people left to panic sell their crypto at this point. I think a lot of the panic sellers, the people who were either doing swing trades, you bought it at 30K, you sold it at 60K, you bought back in at 30, 40K, whatever. You're doing your own game. You know what's going on. But for a lot of people who came in, they bought at $55,000, $60,000, $65,000, or of course, a lot of altcoins when they were at their highs 2 weeks ago. Now you've sold at a 30, 40, 50, 60% loss, depending what assets you've been in. Well, if you're already out, well, then you're out. And maybe you're expecting the market to drop farther, which tends to be a pretty common sentiment in the market. When we do see this kind of fear, this kind of panic coming in, people then start to talk about, well, it's down 50%, it must be going down another 90%. Or we've gone down to 30K, we're going to go back down to 10K. People become overly bearish in the same way that they become overly bullish at the tops. But if you haven't sold yet, why sell now? You're already down 50% if you bought at $65,000 or whatever. So the risk reward right now is actually that the market's likely to go back up. So selling now for a loss, hoping that you're going to be able to rebuy if the market drops another 30, 40, 50%, is a lot less likely scenario right now versus an eventual market recovery. And look, I don't think this is the end of the bull market. I've said this a lot of times. Most of the major indicators which would show an end to a bull market have not yet hit. There has been no big blow-off top. Most of what we've seen recently with this big sell-off event has largely been driven by fear, uncertainty, and doubt surrounding different news events that we've seen coming out, right? China banned Bitcoin twice in a week, neither of which were particularly accurate. We've also seen the Elon Musk stuff where Tesla stopped accepting Bitcoin for payments and everyone freaked out, and we had some IRS FUD, and just on and on and on. All these news stories came in about a week's time frame, panicking a lot of people in the markets. Now, when that panic starts happening, then it starts triggering massive amounts of liquidations because people are panic selling, prices are being driven down. The liquidations start happening. When the liquidations start happening, that then creates a cascading effect in the market where every liquidation that happens, that is a market sell that drives the price down even further, causing even more liquidations, more panic, and eventually you reach an area where the panic subsides, There aren't any more heavy leverage positions to liquidate. The amount of panic sellers comes down. So that's kind of what's been going on. And that's not, for me, an event where you panic sell your Bitcoin at a loss. This is the time when you should be accumulating Bitcoin. At least that's what I'm doing, right? I can't tell you what to do. No one can tell you what to do. In fact, remember, you're always responsible for your investments. And I know a lot of people are looking to other people to say, hey, can you tell me exactly when to buy, exactly when to sell, exactly what coin to buy and when, and how best to take profits on that and all that stuff. The best knowledge that you can get from anyone here on the internet is not telling you exactly what to buy and when and all that stuff, but it's to give yourself the tool set that you need to make those decisions on your own, because that's the only way realistically you're ever going to succeed in this market. But I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing right now with Bitcoin, because this whole sell-off, it's largely been driven by panicked retail sellers, new money that's come into the market. That's a lot of indicators we've been seeing. We've seen whales coming in and buying up the dip pretty hard. For the most part, Bitcoin miners, they are not selling their Bitcoin right now. Those guys have basically been building up their stockpiles for the last few months now. So we haven't seen any significant sell-off happening by miners. We also see that whales are buying Bitcoin right now. And look, if you're not a whale, you can still think like a whale. So what do whales do in the market, right? Whales are big, rich accounts. They tend to be market movers. They tend to buy dips, and that's exactly what we've seen over the last days. 5.5 billion was bought, I think, yesterday. Something like more than 100,000 Bitcoin has been bought up in total during this whole market correction by whales. So it's been very, very significant buying by institutions and big whale players. And if you're not a whale, then chances are your behavior in the market will be more akin to plankton. And look, you're not plankton, okay? I just want to get that through right here. And this is a story I've shared on the show a couple of times, but it's important to bring back up in a time like this, because what do plankton do? Plankton tend to be these smaller accounts that the whales eat. So where whales are selling tops, buying massive market corrections, plankton tend to do the exact opposite. They're buying the tops, selling the bottoms, basically feeding the whales their money. That's what's happening here. Most people behave like plankton. They end up being these passive players getting pushed around by the tides of the market, panicking, and of course, being eaten by the whales. That doesn't have to be you, because you are not plankton. You're a person, but you're a person who can learn from a very, very clever fish, the remora. So the remora is a fish that follows the whales and the sharks, the bigger fish, right? Not the whales are fish, but you guys know what I'm saying. So the remora follow along and benefit from being attached to and following along with these bigger players. So if you are a smaller account, you don't have to act like plankton, the majority of the people in the market. You can do a different story. You can follow what the big money is doing. We're so lucky in this market that we have all of this on-chain data that we can refer to. It's a very unique situation for crypto, so we can actually see in real time the whales coming in and buying the dips massively. That's how we know that they bought like 5.5 billion worth of Bitcoin yesterday, because we have the on-chain data proving that. That's a big deal. And so what do we see? We see the new money selling their coins. We see the whale accounts, the accumulation addresses, adding to their Bitcoin stacks. You can learn how the big money plays the game and play the game like they play it. They sell when the market's pumping. They buy when the market is dumping. They think long term. A lot of the plankton participants in the market, very short term thinking. Get rich quick. How do I make $1 million overnight with my $5? that sort of sentiment, you might as well go start playing blackjack. It's just a gambler's mentality. It's heavy, heavy speculation. And if you want to be an investor like the whales and the institutions are, you need to start thinking like an investor. Investors go after value. They find where the value is. And when something is at a massive discount price, you buy it. You buy it. That's how winning is done. Now, I've been buying Bitcoin recently. I shared on Twitter the other day, I bought some Bitcoin at $51,000. Not a crazy amount. I bought some more Bitcoin at $41,000. Also not a crazy amount, but more than I bought at $51,000. And then I was lucky to be awake during the peak sell-off the other day, and I bought a lot of Bitcoin at $31,000, buying into the dip heavily. Now, if the bears turn out to be right and Bitcoin drops another 50%, which I don't think is going to happen, but I am not an oracle, and if that does happen, I'm going to buy that dip, man. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. I'll buy some Bitcoin at $21,000. Give that to me all day long. To be amazing. Because I'm thinking long term. I'm looking at an amazing asset that is currently on sale. And why am I so crazy to go out and buy Bitcoin right now? The reason is because nothing has changed in my overall thesis regarding Bitcoin, Ethereum, because I've also been buying Ethereum, other cryptocurrency assets as well, although I haven't actually deployed any cash into altcoins. I keep going, just which one am I going to buy? I don't know. But I've definitely bought Bitcoin and Ethereum. Actually bought more Ethereum today as well. My overall thesis for crypto is that this stuff is going to the freaking moon. This is revolutionary technology. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are really the tips of the spear at the moment. Other cryptocurrency assets, all the altcoins farther down the list, doing very interesting stuff. I'm heavily invested in a lot of those, and I've seen 50-60% paper losses on these coins in the last week. But I haven't panic sold the altcoins either, but I've also taken profits on the pumps, so I'm not as worried about them because most of the altcoins that I'm holding right now, worry-free moonbags that I've taken my capital out of, and they're basically free riding. If they go up, if they go down, whatever. It's all good because I already got my capital back out, so I'm not actually going to be losing money on these positions. But anyway, nothing has changed in my thoughts about Bitcoin. Just because the price is down doesn't mean that the fundamentals of the asset have changed for me. Inflation still going crazy, governments and central banks still going nuts, negative rates, all that crazy stuff that's going on. That's fine. Bitcoin is still a store of value, and all that stuff that has driven me to invest in Bitcoin in the first place has not changed. In fact, most of it has only become worse. So that's a good reason to keep buying Bitcoin. We're also starting to see adoption happening at an incredible scale for Bitcoin. Almost half of the top 20 US banks now offer some kind of Bitcoin-related services to their rich clients. Eventually, I'm sure that'll trickle down to retail clients, but you have to let the fat cats get in first, as is always the situation with banking. You got to let the big boys eat before the little guys get a chance, right? The whale mentality here. But we are lucky that we don't have to wait for your local corner bank to offer you Bitcoin. You can just go buy it today. No one's here to stop you doing that. You can just go get yourself some Bitcoin. We also see corporations buying, obviously MicroStrategy and Square and Tesla and all these others that have been buying Bitcoin as a way to diversify away from cash. That has been a big, big deal recently, a massive part of the Bitcoin story over the last 6 to 8 months. We've also seen the entry of all kinds of new participants, from endowments and pensions all the way up to sovereign freaking wealth funds. Sovereign freaking wealth funds, man, that is incredible. If you don't know what a sovereign wealth fund is, this is basically the investment arm of countries that have been buying Bitcoin, which is freaking incredible, unbelievable stuff. Now, I still believe that Bitcoin is going to be challenging the market cap of gold as a store of value over the next years. That Bitcoin is a gold 2.0 asset. That would mean that over time, we are going to see Bitcoin challenging a $10 trillion market cap, which would be approximately something like a 20x in the price from where we are right now, which is incredible to think about. And that's something like a 15x gain from here for Bitcoin, which, yeah, I know altcoins are going to make you a lot more money, likely, over the shorter term. But again, I have different theses for why I buy Bitcoin, for why I buy Ethereum, and for why I invest in a lot of the altcoins that I invest in. So putting money into Bitcoin, I look at as a long-term investment. That long-term, any of that cash that I put into Bitcoin, it's gonna be okay. We are going to see Bitcoin reaching those crazy valuations, and buying Bitcoin in the $30,000 to $40,000 range where it is currently, when I have full conviction that Bitcoin is going to be worth more than $100,000 of Bitcoin. In fact, if we do hit the $10 trillion market cap over time, which again I believe is something that Bitcoin is going to do, then we're looking at Bitcoin being worth $500,000, $550,000 per Bitcoin. Mind-blowing stuff here. But that is the ability to think long term. Again, most people in the market are thinking very short term. If you can think long term, then you already have an edge on the majority of the crowd in the market, because that gives you the ability to actually think, well, if I am thinking long term, if I do believe that Bitcoin's going to be a 6-digit asset, why the heck wouldn't I buy it when it's worth, $30,000? Now, maybe you believe it's going to go lower, so you're going to buy it then. But certainly, why the heck you panic selling it at $30,000 or $40,000 if you believe it's going to go up to these prices? Now, maybe you don't believe that. Maybe you got into Bitcoin because you wanted to get rich overnight. If that's the case, I would suggest to go back and do a bit more research, because you might have missed a few key points on what the heck Bitcoin is about. Anyway, those are just my 2 Satoshis for the day. Your question: what have you been buying during this market dip? Or are you all out of funds? You're just like, man, this is crazy. All my money's gone. What's going on? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.